This is mostly a talking lesson. I went to an audition for a group, a Grateful Dead group, and they laid this song on me called Eyes of the World. It's a cool tune. And the guy said it was E major in the jam part of the song. They're going E major 7 to B minor. And I thought to myself, okay, that's what I have to work with. So how do I approach this? Well, it's an E major 7. I know my chord tones, so I know there's an E flat in there. And I know that I can stay over E. And I know the names of the chord tones, and I know the chord tones. Anyway, and then I said, okay, over the B minor, what am I going to do? Well, here I'm in the key of E, and I'm going to use my Locrian bass. You know, that's what I'm going to base it on. All right, the major 7. And over the B, so I thought, okay, B minor, E, B minor, E. Okay, so let's make this go ahead and we'll turn this 2/5 into the key of A. So I'll use the Dorian in the key of A. And that's what this lesson is about. How to adjust and how to think your way into something without just start riffing. The biggest mistake I see a lot of people make at different levels. Some cats will walk in and say, okay man, I'm playing over an E major, so I know I can fool around with that, and then I got a B minor and I know I can play my B minor pentatonic. Okay? But if you really want to get into music and the guitar and respect the music that you're playing, and you want to sound good, a step above the average player, you have to get into the marrow of music, the marrow of the guitar. You have to be like a lion or a tiger. You got to crunch the bone, crack it, then you have to eat the marrow too. So when you go to your guitar instructor and say, listen, I really need to know all these things about the guitar. Because some guys will go in there and they approach it with their fingers. They're not using their brain. They're just running their fingers. And hopefully they'll run their fingers and everything will sound cool. Well, that's one good way not to get a job, and it's another way to step on landmines on the fretboard. So the real way to approach things is to have your brain trained. Train the brain, and the brain will train the fingers. It's not the other way around. It's not the fingers, all right, and then you're thinking, and then you're listening, because if you're thinking about what you're doing, you're stinking, and people can tell. They truly can. So you want to listen, goes into the brain tells the fingers what to do. So you go to your instructor and you say, I need to know my scales. I also need to know my modes. I need to know how chords are constructed. I need to know the chord tones that I'm playing over. I also need to know how to switch keys when I'm improvising, because not everything is a 1-4-5 or a 1-6-5-4 or a 1-6-4-5, okay? You change keys sometimes when you're improvising, and the only way you can do that is you have to know your keys, and you have to know your modes and what you can work with. In this case, like I said, I had the Locrian in the key of E, and I could use the Dorian in the key of A. And that's really all I've got to say, because really, those little things that I just played, I just didn't start moving my fingers around. I thought that out before I even started playing. Right? And I never really listened to the song or played over the song. I only knew the 2 chords that they wanted me to jam over, okay, to see if I could improvise. Because we do a lot of improvisation in this Grateful Dead thing. And that's all I've got to say. I have to keep this short. So I'll talk to you guys later. Remember, get an instructor, all right? And don't rely on YouTube, okay? Because here's the problem with YouTube. I do it on YouTube. I show stuff on YouTube. A lot of great players show stuff on YouTube. But the bottom line is, if you're a beginner or an intermediate, your fingers aren't strong enough. And you're going to quit. You're going to give up. You know, unless you're into a lot of pain. So really, get an instructor. And if you can't afford an instructor, go hang out like I did at a guitar store. and just ask every great player that you're running into what they're doing. All right, and that's about it. Talk to you later.